Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. You know me, but I'm joined here with...
Rob Digby from Team Digby Travels.
Jumanji! And that is what we're here to talk about. So Rob's got a few theories, I suppose, behind Jumanji that he's going to discuss with me and kind of get more of an insight into what is Jumanji.
Well, I mean, I really love the latest film. The film is just awesome. I really like the direction they've taken it in because they've really expanded upon it, going from just the board game, into a video game, which is quite cool. And the latest adventure, spoilers follow, is really quite good because they go back into the game and it builds on some of the previous things that they've had. But there's some questions that I have, especially about towards the end, because, for example, whenever they press their chest, they get a sign up there that shows their strengths
and weaknesses.
Yeah, and that's pretty cool. They play it for laughs during the first one. During the second one, you kind of know the drill. The only question I have is that they only seem to show it when the player characters, not the NPCs, the non-player characters, but when the player characters are in the game. So that means that anybody who has one of those strengths and weaknesses must be a player.
It's kind of like this, isn't it?
Wow. Okay, wish mine could do that. But at the end, so they're fighting the bad guy, and one of the Rock, I believe it is, taps the other guy on the chest, and the villain has a strength and weaknesses board that comes up. So does that mean he is a player? Because they never talked about it before. And with the way the movie ended, I think they're going to dive into it.
Yeah, I think that player probably is a playable character because, I mean, you had the other two new characters that sort of jumped into the game this time and been never seen or heard about them before. So there is a possibility that there are extra characters.
And thinking about it now, I think that in this latest installment of Jumanji, they introduced the idea of, or they expanded upon the idea of the avatars. And most people know what the avatars are, is that it's a character that can be played by anybody. So it looks the same, so it's The Rock, but it could be played by the main character, or in this case, it is the main character's grandfather. So even though it looks like The Rock, he's acting completely differently. His personality is completely different because somebody else is controlling him. So maybe this character that plays the villain might be a character that we've seen before or has been mentioned before, and is simply he's controlling a new character. And so this character, this villain that we've seen, it's the first time we've seen him, but I think maybe the person that's behind it might be somebody that they've already talked about.
Well, I think two interesting points come from that. Of course, you've got the pool where you can jump into and your characters change. You go from Professor O'Brien to maybe The Rock or something like that.
Yeah, and that was quite interesting. Yeah.
And then the other thing with that, of course, if you're playing a villain, like if we're playing a normal game and we're playing the villain, we play it up, don't we? Yeah. We're like, we're the villain, we're going to do this. So therefore, it could be one of the good guys or the good kids that have been in the previous movies. They're really going to play up the villain if they do play the villain in the next movie.
Well, I mean, I think the thing is that he was searching for something, and we don't exactly know what they were searching for. They also mentioned the siblings. I think it was a brother and a sister, right?
Yeah.
Right? And see, there's so many things. At the very end of the movie, they introduce Nora, who has taken over the restaurant from the grandfather's and his partner. Nora turns out to be the same character as she was the caretaker of the two kids in the very first film. So originally she wanted to start a bed and breakfast, right? But now apparently things have changed because the kids came back and the timeline altered. So now she's running restaurants. So she is back. Which now leads to the thing about, where are the kids? Where is the brother and sister? Okay? and I'm just wondering, like, if they're bringing her back, then I'm wondering if they're going to bring back the other two. And does that mean that they are the twins or the brother and sister they kept referring to? They said, these people are coming to meet us. It was the two brothers and a sister. Your mother said their sister was, beautiful, more beautiful than the eastern sky or something like that.
Because you're talking about the Robin Williams version of the brother and sister, right?
Yeah, so those two there.
Because they weren't brother and sister, though.
Yeah, they were brother and sister because their parents died in a ski accident.
Yeah.
And they were being taken care of by their aunt or something. Yeah. And her name was Nora. And when the timeline fixed itself, obviously she was no longer in the picture, but now she's come back as the manager of this new restaurant called Nora's that Danny DeVito kind of says that he's going to work for at the end. But the question is raised, if they're bringing her back, there's a possibility they could bring back the boy and the girl as well. Yeah. And since they've been in Jumanji before, who knows where that could lead? Because that could be some really interesting places. Because another thing that I noticed, because I've been thinking about this, is at the end of the movie, one of the characters says, "I'm never going back in Jumanji again. Let's agree, we'll never go back into Jumanji again." Right after that, you see that Jumanji has come to them. You know what I mean? So I think, okay, they're not going into Jumanji, but now Jumanji has come out. So that means that somehow or another, something has happened in the world. And so it's either they kept talking about the two brothers and the sister that they were going to meet, but they never actually met them. Either those people have come for them, or if the villain really is a player, then he has 3 lives. Yes. And so when they knocked him off the airship, then it may be that he died, but he only lost 1 of his 3 lives. So he could be coming back. I'm really looking forward to seeing where they go with this, because it's exciting, like which way they could go.
Yeah.
So,
I've never seen Jumanji in this kind of way.
Yeah.
It's opening it up for a whole new kettle of fish, so to speak.
Well, yeah, I just think like if they returned, because the first Jumanji was very interesting, but you never actually saw inside the game. You only saw the game come outside. Right? And then the second one is the first time where they actually went inside the game, and now the third one they've gone back inside the game. But if the fourth one, which is coming out, which I really hope they're coming out with it. I'm pretty sure they are because of the way the movie ended. But if the fourth one comes, returning to the original idea of the game coming to the players instead of the players going to the game.
Yeah.
That would be interesting.
I'm pretty sure there is going to be a fourth one because Jack Black said after Jumanji 3, of course his versions, so Jumanji 3, that's his last movie. After that, he's going to be stopping acting and spending time with family and stuff. So it's kind of in a way been leaked that Jumanji 3's come out. Either that or he meant Jumanji 2 of the new ones. You know what I mean? So that potentially, with what he said, could be taken either way, that the last Jumanji movie was his last gig, or there is one more coming.
But you can never trust them. I'm sorry.
Okay? It's Jack Black.
Like, no, but Game of Thrones, they said that, what's his name was dead, Jon Snow was dead, and Kit Harington swore up and down, I'm dead, I'm not coming back, and then suddenly he came back. You can't trust the actors.
Well, it's Game of Thrones.
Yeah, but you can't trust them. The thing is that Jack Black can swear up and down that he's not going to be in that, but who knows? I mean, the other cool thing that I thought about this game was, okay, the characters come back. Like, I mean, the animals and things come out of the game. But what about the avatars? What if the avatars came out of the game, and now we're, like the hunter was in the first one? What if the avatars came out and were acting on their own? That would be interesting to see what The Rock would be going up against his own guy.
Yeah, because they wouldn't be playable characters. They'd turn into NPCs coming into our world because there's no one to play them.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So the thing is that I don't know if Jack Black's coming back. I mean, he can say, oh, no, I'm not coming back, or, oh, this is the last movie. That's fine, but I mean, Stephen King said years ago that he was going to write his last book, and since then he's written like 12 more. So, yeah, I don't trust those kind of things. I'm like, you never know. Maybe it's just a way to kind of build suspension or, get people into a fuss.
Yeah.
Oh, no. So, yeah.
Well, it got me upset. I want to work with Jack Black. And it's his last movie.
I doubt it. I really doubt it. I'm sorry. He's a talented actor. He'd be going to waste. I think if anything, he'll take a break, and then what he'll do is that he'll come back a few years later, because there will always be something. Actors love their craft. They love to act. So I'm sure that somebody will be able to entice him back into acting if he's really tried to quit, and say, hey, look, there's this role. It's perfect for you. I'm sure that he'll find something that he'll be like, yes, I've got to do this.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Never say never.
Yeah, exactly. So
anyways, back to Jumanji.
I think the villain is a player that we may have heard of, or we may have even seen before, because they have mentioned, there's a list of people they've talked about in the past. It could even be like the brother or the sister from the first one. I think that the brother and the sister will return somehow, and I think it'll be really interesting to see how Jumanji comes into the new world, into this world, as a video game this time instead of just a board game. It'll be interesting to see what actually happens. So
the thing that I found really weird is it kind of in the latest Jumanji.
Yeah.
It clearly shows how powerful Jumanji really is. That console was smashed, broken, destroyed, done for. All of a sudden, it works in the back of the game.
Yeah, well, but I mean that's even the same thing with the board game. Like they buried it, and then it ended up.
The board game turned into a video game.
Yeah, well, the board game turned into a video game, which I thought was really interesting, and that'd be interesting to see how it's. I don't think they'd go too much into the origins because I think that would make it a bit too tough to explain. But
they bring a book out about that, like the Insider's Guide to Jumanji. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
But I mean, it'd be interesting to see just really see the development of where they're going. And just see how the plot. I think they've got some good things. They've got some good directions that they can go.
There is one character that I'd love to see a little bit more, and not just on repeat. Yeah. And that is Rhys Darby's character.
Well, see, that was the thing. That was where my thought was with the NPCs. Was that if the NPCs in the game come out, then Rhys Darby might actually be one of them. So Rhys Darby might actually come out of the game, and he might be helping the characters, but now as an NPC. Of course, my mind goes through all of the different plot ideas. I'm like, how cool would this be? How cool would this be? My idea is, okay, Rhys Darby comes out of the game, and then he elects to stay somehow into the real world at the end of the next one.
Totally
because throughout the first two movies, he's been kind of, the first two sequels here, he's been kind of wasted because he only says the same thing over and over again, and they keep saying it to him. They say, oh, he can only say this much. And it'd be really interesting if he showed up in the third one and he's like, wow, I can say anything I want.
The fate of Jumanji is in your hands.
And it'd be funny just to see how that they could really have some fun with the fact that he's not restricted to saying only certain lines. It'd be fun to see him say really as a character, I can open up, I can actually say whatever I want.
So there's the thing that I was thinking, obviously, and you've mentioned it, is if they do come out of the game, obviously they're not going to have that controlled environment that they have to have inside the game because they're no longer inside the game.
Yeah.
So therefore they have the will and control and the power to pretty much do anything and everything they want. So we could even have these good guys that have always wanted to be villains, for example, like The Rock. Say he's always wanted to be a villain, but because he's inside the game, he has to play a good guy. He could come out of the game, all of a sudden he's a bad guy because his true feelings are coming out. He's not being controlled. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think they would necessarily go that way, though. I mean, because...
It'd be an interesting take, right?
It would be an interesting thing. The thing is, I think the key to this is who is controlling the villain? Who is that? Who is the player that's behind them? And in the last one, they just kept mentioning these two brothers and a sister. And we never got to meet them. And that's really strange, because in most films or books... I forgot who said it, but somebody said if you introduce a gun at the beginning of the book, by the end of the book it has to fire. Somebody has to shoot that gun by the end of the book if you introduce it. And so they've introduced this brother, the Cabrera brothers or something like this, and they never let us see them. So it feels kind of like a cheat, because it's like we thought that we would meet these people in this latest installment. I think that these kind of unseen villains might be important to the plot of the next one.
And I definitely understand what you're saying. It's like, we'll take one of the greatest movies of all time, Fellowship of the Ring, for example. Tom Bombadil. Why wasn't he in the movies? It's because he didn't really add to the story progression. That's why they gave his lines to Treebeard.
But they didn't mention him though. But I'm saying in Jumanji though, they mention these guys a lot.
So what I'm saying,
mentioning him.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is obviously they didn't mention Tom Bombadil or anything, so he was just not part of it. But in Jumanji, they mentioned the brother and sister, so clearly that's got to mean something. Because if we were never going to see them and they never had part of the story, why would they mention them?
Yeah, because the thing is that the villain was going off to see him at the end, and then they had this big fight on the airship, and he gets kicked off, and he dies. But I mean, if he's a player, then he has extra lives. But the thing is that the brother and sister who he was going to see would obviously be angry that they didn't get what they were looking for, and they were also talking about something else, a stone or something, the heart of.
Yeah. Wasn't the heart of Jumanji or something?
No.
I've only seen it once.
I've got to watch it again.
Yeah.
But we never really saw that either. So the thing is that maybe, I think in the next film we'll see more about the brothers and the sister. We'll see more about the villain, and we'll see more about this other artifact that they never saw in that one.
Yeah. So. Because they're clearly opening themselves up for another one.
Yes, definitely.
And in saying that, our dear friend Rob is moving to Germany in a few days. So if we decide to do another little Jumanji talk with the next one coming out, it will be via Skype or something, which I will post up on YouTube.
Yep.
But yeah, that's pretty much been Jumanji.
So if you have any theories about Jumanji, put them in the comments below. Just tell us what you think. Is the villain really going to be important? Is the brother and sister going to be important? Have we got it completely wrong? If so, just tell us, But definitely give this video a like for Axel. He's a great guy. And he does really good work, so check out his other videos.
And jump over to Team Digby Travels. And what exactly is Team Digby Travels?
My last name is Digby, and so we call ourselves Team Digby, and we're moving overseas, so part of the thing is we're trying to take some video to show our family members overseas and all of our kids' friends who live in New Zealand what we're doing. This last week we went to the South Island, so we'll be putting up some videos about that, about the Queenstown Luge, about the things we did in Dunedin and Christchurch. And then when we actually go on our trip to Germany, we're going to be stopping in Australia, Singapore, South Korea, Japan, before heading over to Germany. And then once we get to Germany, we'll be putting up a bunch of videos about places we see over there. So Christmas markets and amusement parks and all sorts of things. It'd be just really good just to show people what we're doing as a family. You
never know, I might be able to convince Digby to go check out Rammstein and do a little bit of a video there. And for you, Scott, DJ Scooter.
Yeah.
But definitely go subscribe to Team Digby Travels. Rob's been a good mate, fantastic mate. It's disappointing that he's leaving. But and that's pretty much going to be our only real video together. So hopefully you've enjoyed it. Don't forget to smash that like button. Drop a comment below like Rob said. Subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications. And thanks for watching. Alright, until next time, we'll catch you on the